there's something we each going to learn this afternoon. Our presenter will be Dr. Wesley Palmer, and also ably assisted by Sister Kim Harrigan. Okay, thank you so much. So before we begin, we'll have prayer. Brother R.D. Brother Moses will give us prayer this afternoon.
Okay, let's bow our heads as we pray. Gracious Father, we want to thank you for the many blessings you have granted us through the day. We thank you for this opportunity that we can come and learn about finance, which is a very important aspect. We pray that you'd bless those who will be leading out, and we pray that you'd grant us receptive minds, that as we sit down and learn, somehow we learn something that will benefit us. So we ask that you take control. Is our prayer with thanksgiving. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Good afternoon, Agape. How are you? Thank you so much for being here today. Today I have the privilege of introducing our presenter today for the financial seminar, Dr. Wesley Palmer. For those who don't know Dr. Palmer, Dr. Wesley Palmer is an ordained elder for more than 30 years, presently serving at the Linden SDA Church as a finance chair. As he has preached throughout the world, including the Caribbean, North America, Asia, and Africa. Also, he has conducted presentations on a wide variety of business topics in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, US, and in Europe. He is an accomplished professional with over 30 years of industry experience in financial accounting, finance, business management, taxation, information technology, and entrepreneurship. He assists nascent entrepreneurs with business registrations, writes business plans, conducts feasible studies, performs market research, analyzes trends, and provides hands-on training in small business management. He is the president and chief executive officer of Wesper Consulting, Inc., a financial service company that he founded in January 1997. The company has location in Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island and provides services nationwide. The company offers a wide range of services in financial consulting, accounting, taxation, and has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau of New York. He is the chairman of the board and CEO of Precursor Human Capital Development, better known as Ph.D., which is a registered 501c3 organization that he has established to help undeserved youth in New York, Africa, and the Caribbean. Through Ph.D., students have graduated in Ghana and Jamaica in the fields of human resources, teaching, medicine, and cosmetology. He's also the president of the Jamaican Adventist Association in New York, an organization that promotes and provides education funding, including building schools and providing technological systems for underprivileged children in Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the diaspora. Dr. Palmer is a professor and has taught at many institutions, including Touro College, Kettering University, and Baruch College. He is currently a member of faculty at York College, CUNY, where he teaches management and technology. He also teaches at Namibia University in Namibia, Africa. He earned a BBA in management and international finance and a BBA in economics from Baruch College. He is also on an MBA in accounting and a postgraduate certificate in accounting from Keller Graduate School of Management in New York. He earned a Ph.D. in management with a specialization in leadership and organizational change from Walden University in Maryland. Dr. Palmer is a researcher and author and has published many business articles in peer-reviewed international journals. His new book entitled Cybersecurity, Data Protection and Strategies is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, as well as Walmart online bookstore. He is married to Dr. Delseta Palmer, and the union produced 3 adult children. He is actively involved in outreach and in reach ministry. Dr. Palmer is a missionary and presently engaged in a new church building in Accra, Ghana. Dr. Palmer is requesting your sincere prayers and partnership in helping promote the everlasting gospel of Jesus Christ. Members and friends of Agape, let us welcome today Dr. Wesley Palmer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Indeed, it's an honor to see all of you here on this evening who are interested in learning about finances. Of course, it is my pleasure. I'm pretty sure after all this discussion, you will learn a whole lot. And I expect also that your lives will be changed as a result of this evening's meeting. Now, I want to take the opportunity to thank Ms. Harrigan for her warm introduction, and that's so eloquently done. And thank you, all of you, who take the time out to be here. There's a lot going on in Brooklyn in Queens today. I understand there's a march and all kind of stuff going on. But you are here, so you have your own interests here. So I'm very, very happy that you're here. Now, here's my question to you. What do you want to learn about finance? Any one of you, what do you want to learn? Huh? How to manage your money. Yeah, what do you want to learn? See that you have some questions. So is my really what I want to do is to make sure I can answer those questions for you. And that is good, because when you come to a seminar, you want to see what people are thinking, you know, what they expect to get. Because listen to this. If you came here expecting to get something, you'll get something. And in most cases, when you come, and you come with an idea of what you're looking for, you'll find it. Sometimes if you came blank, perhaps you'll leave blank. So I'm happy that you have a sense of purpose of what you really want. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so let me also jump into the slides. This is something I always want to catch you with. This is always my first sweetest thing for you. Now, let me see a show of hands of those of you who have a budget. Get a budget. Put your hand up high, let everybody see you got a budget. So in this whole group, we have 2.5 people got a budget. All right, very good. Thank you so much. What's your name? Harpaul. Thank you very much for that. So let me see a show of hands, right? Who believe to have a budget in your head is a good thing? No, come on, come on. Let me see a show of hands who think to have a budget in your head is a good thing. Not yet, not yet. We're not taking questions yet. I'm just gonna. All right. So, okay, you believe that you have a budget in your head. That's a good thing. No, 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 no. To have a budget in your head, you have no, a budget in your head is equal to zero budget. All right, don't be defensive. It's okay. I got you. It's okay. I'm not picking at you, so don't worry. Don't worry. You're good. You have a budget in your head. All right. So here's what I'm saying to you, and I always do this. And wherever I go to do a presentation, I always start with the budget. You know why? Because most people, especially most black folks, do not have a budget. They have a budget in their head. A budget in your head is not a budget. A budget must be written, right? A budget must be a plan, a written plan, okay? It must be a written plan, and if you're a family person, you and your family are supposed to, having sat down and work out a budget, write it down, and agree to it. Something in your head. Who's going to agree to what in your head when your wife has a different thing? You have a budget in your head. It's in your head. And your wife is someplace else buying something, and you're someplace else buying something because it's in your head. Now, a budget must be a written plan that is established, and that is the family budget. Now, if you don't, all right, so let me just continue to talk before you, and it's not question time, I just wanted to warm you up. Okay, so your budget must be written, right? Must always be written and agreed upon if you're a family person. If you're not family person and just you alone, your budget must be written. And you must follow the budget. You must every now and then, because listen, in our memory is very short and fallible. And I can't even remember what I did yesterday, let alone remember what I have a whole budget, and to remember what I have on my budget. You have to write that down, and so you need to have a budget, and so what the budget will do, it will help you to manage your personal finances. So I'm going to talk a little bit before we take questions, okay? All right. So you want to make sure that your budget, of course, is written, agreed upon. So when you have a written budget, you want to ensure that you do not go outside of your budget. Okay. So because your budget is really your spending guide. Your spending guide. Now listen. To establish a budget, you need to know two things, right? So I'm going to go through quickly with this, and then we're going to eventually have the question and answer piece. But I just wanted to warm you up. So write your question down and hold the questions for later on when we come to the Q&A. Okay? Is that okay? Is that okay? All right. So make sure you hold the questions. Write your question down and remember them. Now, there are two very important things that is necessary for you when you're thinking of establishing a budget. Now, those two things are your income. You should always know what is your net income. Net income. Because some people build a budget off of income. Remember, if you're on a W-2, there are going to be a lot of expenses coming from it, like your FICA, your federal and state and Social Security. So if your boss told you that you're getting $500 per week, it's not going to be $500 per week. It's going to be $500 less those deductions. So you must know what is your net after your boss or the company payroll people take out the payroll pieces, right? So you want to know what is your income. Very important. And then once you know what's your income, your net income, then you should know what is your recurring expenses. Recurring expenses. So recurring expenses are such expenses as your rent, or mortgage, your light, telephone, your car insurance. Those are recurring expenses, right? And those expenses, you want to make sure you secure those expenses every month and your budget. A lot of people borrow money and constantly out of money because they don't have a budget. And when they get their paycheck, they think they have money. And they head to the supermarket, or they head to the Macy's, or wherever they went to go, or Amazon. You should know that before you go anywhere, you must first of all make sure that your money is allocated to your recurring expense first. Also know that when you set up your recurring expenses, that you want to also have a little bit of money for things like vacation. There are some ways to do that for vacation. Plan your vacation wisely. Plan your vacation as part of your budget, right? So plan your vacation as part of your budget. And so you will put away that vacation fund and allocate and plan your vacation to what you can afford within your budget. So don't try to keep up with the Joneses, right? Don't try to go to some expensive resort someplace and you can afford it. And then you come back, you're borrowing money to pay your rent or pay your mortgage or for your car note or your car in repo. Use a budget. Your budget will prevent that from happening to you. So you have to watch every penny. Very important. Watch every penny. So there's something named impulse shopping, right? Impulse shopping is when you did not plan to shop. So when you have a budget too, one of the things you might want to do, you want to make sure that you stay away from shopping centers. Stay away from shopping centers. Why? Shopping centers give you the urge to shop for what you don't want. It is known as impulse buying. So you stay away from shopping centers, right? So you want to make sure some of those things you need to do. If you find that you don't have enough money to spend, right, from a paycheck, then you have to figure out a way to cut. So you might not go on a vacation if you can't go on a vacation. And that's why the budget will let you do it, because if you didn't have a budget, you will just go and then come back and something get cut off. And then you have to go to your family members and other people trying to ask and borrow and embarrass yourself. There's something you just can't do it. One time I was talking to a client, and the client has 2 luxury cars. And it's not that the client did not have enough money, but the client has 2 luxury cars. You can't have 2 luxury cars if you don't have enough finances. So if you have 2 luxury cars and your finances, and you're struggling with your finances, what should you do? get rid of one of the luxury car, one car is enough, right? You have to manage your expenses. Makes sense, right? Now, so one of the ways you can do that is you can look at, for example, a W-4. So the W-4 is a document you sign up. You can sign up when you're getting your pay. And depending on how many children you have, depending on how many people in your family, you can choose what number. And it can give you more money or less money. Right? That can help you to put more money in your pocket or less money in your pocket, as the case might be, to fund your budget. Also, if you're a senior and you find out that, my Social Security and my small pension is not enough to carry me, then you can decide, you know what? If you have a mortgage and that mortgage got equity in it, you can do a reverse mortgage. You can do a reverse mortgage. That means if you do a reverse mortgage, the bank will pay you instead of you paying mortgage every month. Right? So you can do that. And it depends too on what your objectives are. If your children are grown, have their own house, then it's okay to do reverse mortgage. If your children are young and you start your family late and you want that house for those children, you might not want to do a reverse mortgage. So it all depends on your perspective. But if you find yourself short and you have pension, you can also get money from your pension. But that must be a last resort. One of the things you do, you can borrow from your pension. At no point in time should you withdraw money, early withdrawal from your pension. At no point in time. Never do it. Whenever you do the early withdrawal from your pension, you pay 10% interest. And you pay 10% penalties. That's 20%. And then whatever the amount is, they say that amount gets added to your income and you're taxed the third time on that same money. So when you have an early withdrawal, you pay taxes on that money 3 times. So in essence, you give back your money to the government. So to avoid giving your money to the government, what should you do? You borrow from that money. Because when you borrow from the money, you're in essence borrowing from yourself. And when you're paying back interest, you're paying the interest back to yourself. So it doesn't matter. Right? Right? I'm going to take your question. Write your questions down. I'm going to take them in the end. But if I don't... Oh, okay. Right. So, right. So, if you took an early withdrawal from your pension, you will have to pay 10% interest and 10% penalty. That's total of 20%. And then that amount of money that you borrowed, after you have paid that 20% already, they also add the gross of that on top of your income and then tax you again at a higher tax rate because that amount of money put you into a higher tax bracket. So you now pay 3 times on the money that you withdraw. So in essence, you give your money to the government. So to avoid doing that, right, you borrow. Because when you borrow that money, you're borrowing from yourself. Right. So let me move this quickly because I want to cover a lot and I want to move very quickly so you can ask the questions. So I'm going to jump fast. So some things you can do to manage your budget include you could buy a water filter. If you buy a water filter, it's cheaper to buy a water filter than to buy bottled waters, constantly buying bottled waters. So you just buy a water filter. keep that in. It will give you more volume of water and better clean water than buying bottled waters, right? Buying bulk. So you're buying bulk. Buy at Costco, Walmart, BJ's. When you're buying bulk, you save a lot of money. If you go to the supermarket, to the corner store, the little bodegas, they're marking up. And they're charging you a lot more. Go to Walmart. You know why I say Walmart? Walmart is the only cost leader of the world. It's the cheapest store. And Walmart will tell you that if you can get it cheaper anywhere else, they'll refund you. Now Walmart is true to that. And the next thing about Walmart, as different from Target, is that Walmart has high quality of product. So Walmart has among the highest quality of product among the stores. So even your supermarket, the product at Walmart is better than what in your supermarket. Because Walmart sells higher quality and fresher product than your supermarket. Because your supermarket buy old-fashioned things and dirt and stale things. So most time they wet it up for it to look fresh, not really fresh. Walmart stuff always fresh. And then quickly buy items and sales. So that's how you manage your budget. Don't buy anything and think it's on sale, right? Watch sales, right? And so if you see something nice, watch it. If you go into a store and you want to buy something, go to the store and watch it. I'll give you an example, a quick example for me. I saw a pair of shoes that I wanted at Macy's. And I said, I want a pair of shoes, I'm going to buy it, right? But I said, I'm going to wait until it goes down. So I saw the pair of shoes, and it was selling for $485. All right, I said, okay, I'm going to buy you. I'm going to wear you. Wait, I'm just waiting for you, right? I go there, look at it, and $485, I said, less. I'm going to come back after a certain time I came back because I know how they're going to change out the season. So I wait, and I went back, and it was for like, came down to about $285. I said, okay, it's coming down. Good, I'm coming back. And then I went again, I came back, and it was for $185, and I bought it. And I didn't want it because at that point in time I didn't really want it because it was a season. So I just put it down for the next year. See that? Yes. And the next year I had it. It's brand new, right? So those are strategy, right? Buy things on sale. That's how you do that to manage your budget. Okay. And then final thing I want to say on budget is eat what you cook. All right, so why do you think young people can't have money and your parents? Because these kids are buying everything from Uber Eats, DoorDash, constantly food coming in. Buy what you cook. When you buy what you cook, it's always cheaper to buy what you cook. So let me keep on moving. All right, so these are some of the things you can do to manage your expense. Expense credit and monitor only payments. All right, so one of the things you can do too, in this case, to monitor monthly payment, to manage your budget. Now, look at what happened. The insurance companies continue to increase your insurance in small increment. So your insurance was $210, and it's $215, and something you're not paying attention, and it continue to grow. You should call the insurance company and ask them to reduce your insurance. They will do it. They will ask you to do that 5-hour class. You do the 5-hour class, and they reduce your insurance by 10%. So do that. And if you find that you're not managing, consolidate. If you have large credit card accounts, consolidate them and have one payment. It's easier to manage your credit if you have one payment, right? So if you're challenging, if you're finding that your finances and your budget you're not meeting your budget, your monthly budget, consolidate, right? And then work on repaying your credit, because what happens when you have good credit you pay less. When you have good credit, you pay less. When you have bad credit, you pay more. So work on your credit. It's very important. So now I'm changing gear. I'm moving faster. So I'm now in second gear. Second gear now we talk about pension plan. So here are some plans that you probably have at work: 401k, 414H, 403B. Now, if you have a 401k at work, you should try to find out how much your company match. How much your company match. Because the company generally match what you give. If the company say they match 6%, put in 6%. What that means is that you get 6% of their money. If the company match 6% and you put in 2%, then the company get to keep 4% of their money. So you don't want to do that. If the company say we match 6%, you do 6% and get all that money. Otherwise, you're leaving the money for them. Okay? So always match. So that's for 401. And they're all the same. 41, if you're in the university like I'm a professor, we have the 414H. And if you're in the hospital, you have 403B. Okay, so thank you for your question. So for these pension plans, the company has a contract, and the contract will say, for our pension plan, we match we say 10%, we match 10%. Meaning if you put 10% in. In other words, let me make it bigger. I break it down. If you put in $10, we put $10 too. So if every month or every pay period you put $10 in there, we also give you $10. So if that's the maximum, if the company say our plan is $10 maximum, and you put in $2, the company will only give you $2. Okay. Now, if the company can give you $10, then put $10 so that the company give you additional $10, so you're getting $10 for nothing. Okay. So in other words, the company is helping you to save. You can only save $10, yeah. Okay? But the company will save additional $10, so now you are saving $20, okay. Right? So you should take advantage of that. Very important that you do that. Huh? Yeah, we talk about that. But let me focus on what I have here. All right, so then I want to talk about the traditional IRA. So why is traditional IRA? Why? Well, the reason for the traditional IRA is because there are some people who do not have a pension. There are some organizations that do not have any pension plan. Right? So if your organization does not have a pension plan, then you establish your own pension plan. You have the two options. You have the traditional IRA, and you have the Roth IRA. For the traditional IRA, you can take up to $7,000 if you're under age 50, right? And that amount of money is tax deductible. It is tax deductible. So that is sweet. You're saving money in your pocket, and then get to pay less and get your tax reduced for that reason, right? It's like an expense. Whole $7,000. That's a lot, and that's cool, right? But when you have a traditional IRA, you cannot withdraw that money. You have to let it stay there until you are 59 and a half. Because the intention of that money is for you to get that money when you're a senior. If you go and try to get that money earlier, then you will have to pay interest and penalty on that money. In other words, they will penalize you for taking that money out. That money, right, that the traditional IRA, that money is before tax, right? So it reduces your taxes, and you save it, and it reduces your taxes, and you save that money. If all that money is a good option, right? And it's a lot of money you can save. Now the companion to that is the Roth IRA. Now the Roth IRA is a little bit different. It's after tax, right? So you can withdraw your Roth IRA without having to deal with the penalties after tax. You know, when you're ready to draw your Roth IRA, there's nothing to pay on it because they give you nothing on it, but it's your pension nonetheless, right? Okay. So I'll move quickly. Write your questions down. We're going to answer all your questions momentarily because I'm moving fast. So, retirement. Now, retirement is a big deal. So let me see a show of hands. Those of you who already have a retirement plan. Put your hand up. Put them up. Be proud about it. Put your hands up. You have a retirement plan. Put your hand up. How many? 2.5? All right, so when I leave here today, everyone in here should have a retirement plan. Can you promise me that? Can you promise me? Can you promise me? Can all of you promise me that when I leave here today, you will all have a retirement plan? Will you? Will you? Will you? Well, the pension plan is not the same as a retirement plan. The pension plan is not the same as a retirement plan. No. All right, so I am going to let you understand the difference between a pension plan and a retirement plan. So your pension plan is those that we talked about earlier. Those are pension plan. Those are pension plan. Now, there's one I didn't talk about on this one here. And it's the SEP, and that is self-employment plan. So if you have a little bodega, if you do a little hustle, and whatever you do, but you're not employed, you're self-employed. You're a mechanic, or you're a woodworker, or you do whatever you do, plumber, right? And you're a plumber. And you do your own thing, right? You should have a pension plan, but that one is the SEP. That one is also tax deductible, and it allows you to save your money just like everybody else who got a 401k, a 414H, a 403B. You have your SEP. If you are a plumber, a carpenter, and you don't work for nobody, you work for yourself, you should have that plan. And you save to that plan like everybody else. And when you're ready, when you can't work no more, that money come back to you like everybody else. So there are some of you probably here who are plumbers, or and do odd jobs. And you're saying, oh, well, I can't have a pension because I do odd jobs. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do one. You can do SEP, S-E-P. Go ask your bank. Or you can call me, not after today. I charge you, but I tell you how to do it. All right. All right, so I wanted to make sure you get that. Now, retirement plan is important. Now, here's the problem. A lot of people don't know that they should have a retirement plan because they figure, I have a pension plan and that's my retirement plan. No. Your retirement plan is a plan that you should put on paper. Retirement plan, right, is a plan that helps you to mimic the way you live today, right? So it's all encompassing. How much money do you need to survive today in terms of how much do you pay your rent, your recurring expenses, and all that, right? Based on that, your savings or your allocation of funds or resources for the time when you stop working, when you retire, should be equal to what you're spending for your regular life now. Because when you retire, believe it or not, you will not want your life to change. When you retire, you would want to still do the things you're doing. See, a lot of people, when they say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that because I'm retired now. Oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't go there, I can't, because I'm retired. Well, you know why? Because they had no retirement plan. So they just live, and then when you get to the point of retirement, they are depending on the pension plan. And your pension plan might not be enough, right? So you have to make sure that you set up your plan, right? Not just the pension plan, but set up a series of other things that will help you to have enough resources to maintain your lifestyle. And also to maintain your lifestyle as you're getting closer to retirement, you should try to pay down your debt as part of your retirement plan. Start paying down your debt so you have less debt. If you're getting close to retirement, you can't go buy a brand new car with a big payment for past the time of retirement. How are you going to pay that? So you have to have a retirement plan. If you're planning to retire, right, you can take out certain expenses. Like, what is your age, and what is your child age? Your child wants to go to Harvard University, and you are 60, for example, and you're going to go co-sign student loan for that daughter. Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it? You think who's going to pay for it? So you have to understand that at that point you will tell your daughter, if you're going to Harvard, you better make damn sure you have a scholarship. I'll take a loan because I'm not going to co-sign for you. Because if you have to co-sign and you're what age? And you're that such and such age, then you get stuck and you retire and find yourself paying student loan for your daughter who graduated with her Ph.D. and moved to Atlanta. And too busy to call you, but expect you to pay her student loan. You think I'm kidding you? Okay. So those are the things you have to think about. It's very important that you think about that. Now, so pay attention to what you do when you plan for retirement. Again, some of the things to do: pay down loans, pay them off. Don't take out new loans when you get to a certain age, right? Start working and reducing your expenses so that and then start count your money. Start count your money. Start figure out. Call the Social Security office and ask them how much you have in there and how much you expect to get. Then go sit down with HR and find out how much you're going to get. And then you have a sense of how much you're going to get per month. So now that you have a sense of how much you're going to get per month, you say, okay, this is the amount I'm going to get per month, and these are my expenses. So I won't have enough then. So then what do I need to do? Keep on cutting things down. And then eventually cut things out. Because otherwise you're going to struggle. And then you're going to have high blood pressure. And then you're going to die. You know, so many people, as soon as they retire, they die. Look, a lot of people, they were living very well. And they retire, and 5 years after they retire, 2 years after, then die. You know why? It's the stress. It's too much expense. And they're sitting there like, oh, I'm going to pay this, how am I going to pay this? And their blood pressure going up to the roof. And everything, they are having stroke and all these things that happen. All this because of stress. Because when you know that you have to pay a bill and you can't pay it. The first time when you're working, you could say, okay, I could do some overtime or whatnot and get the money. But now, I could borrow from somebody because they'll say, okay, you're working, so you'll pay. But no, you're not working. See, so how do you pay? And everybody's going to look at you like, you want money to borrow? How are you going to pay? You're retired. So you're not even qualified to get a loan from the church members. All right, I think I covered those. Let me move it quickly to something else. Write your question down. Write them down. Don't forget. Write your question down, because if you try to remember, you won't remember. So for your children, I know you love them, but tell them to study hard and get scholarship. Ask them to work for grants. Loans are available. If you're very generous, and you think you can afford it, well, you can do the 529 plan. 529 plan, you can put a little in there. And you know what? Sometimes they have uncle and godmother, and those people give them little money. Let them put it in there. And then at some point in time, it will help with college, right? If they want to choose to go to Ivy League or some other expensive college, right? Life insurance, somebody asked about that. So there are two types of life insurance that you want to focus on, and that is did I talk about that? If I forget something, I put it here. Well, I cover everything. But whole life insurance, right? And there's term life. The whole life and term life. Insurance agents like to sell whole life because whole life is very expensive, and they get more commission off of whole life. But most cases, most of all of you don't need a whole life insurance policy. You don't. What you really need is a term life. Remember something about insurance. Insurance is for who? Insurance is for you, right? Insurance is for you, right? In many cases, understand that the insurance that you bought is for those mean, good-for-nothing children that you have. Now, understand that when you are gone, they're going to bury you, of course, and then they're going to fight for the rest of their money. So what you really want to do is buy term life. That's all you need. And buy enough for them to fight over when you're gone. But buy it. Have it. And also buy a burial plan. And the burial plan will just bury you. You could buy like $15,000 or $13,000. Give you a decent funeral. And then buy the other term life for them to fight over. Because they're going to fight over it. Because always somebody will say they're not getting their fair share. And they always that one child who's always supportive and doing all the work. And there's all those other who gone and never care about you except Mother's Day and Father's Day. But they want the same amount. And it can't happen. There's always one who comes there, look at you, call you up, and will run errands for you. But there are all the others they move as far away they can from you. All the way in Atlanta and Florida and all of you. You only see them once in a while. They're too busy to call you. But when you're dead, they come in. They're coming. But there's one going to stay with you. So that one is going to get more, and that one is going to fight. Right? All right. So yeah. Think about term life and whole life. Whole life is very expensive. So I used to be an insurance agent, right? So I used to sell insurance. And I used to sell both term life and whole life. And then but I used to generally sell more term life to people. So I wasn't making enough money, so I leave it. Because I didn't want to tell people lie to buy whole life, or they don't need to buy whole life insurance, right? So term life give you a decent coverage. If you bought $1 million, you're going to cover $1 million. Well, of course, you know that there is no equity. There is no equity in term life, no capital gain in it, right? It's basically for that reason, to give people when you're dead. But if you want to buy the whole life, you can borrow from whole life. What I did with my whole life, I bought a whole life, and when I learned the trick about insurance, I went and borrowed from my whole life, and I closed it. So I did. I went and I borrowed from it, right? And I borrow from it, and then I just close it. So I get my money back. Yeah. So if you have any whole life, my advice to you, go borrow from it and then close it and use that money to buy term life. And you can, and if you want to pay cheap on your term life, pay term life annually. It's cheaper to pay it annually than pay monthly. Huh? No, you can take, it's your money, you can take it. But they don't know that you know. Most people don't know. So what happened with most people, because they don't know, they have this $500 a month paying to these people. And then they get into trouble and can't pay it, and they lapse it. And then all that money goes to them. And they know that most people, maybe 40% of people who buy whole life policy lapse them. And all that money goes to them for free. That's why the insurance company got so much money. I'm glad you say that. Because that's what I was missing. I was going to say it and I missed me. Thank you. So whole life is a saving, but you don't need to do that. What you need to do is buy term life. And the excess money that you have, put it in your IRA. Put it in your IRA, your Roth or traditional IRA. That's what you do. You can save your money for yourself. You don't need them to do that for you. And you know, because you will never lapse your IRA. And if you can't pay, you don't have to pay in your IRA every month, every year. If one time you can't pay, it's okay. Your money's still there growing. But if 1 month, 2 months you don't pay your whole life policy, it's lapsed and you lose all your money. So let's say somebody who has a whole life policy for 10 years. 10 years. You have it. And save up all that money for 10 years. Right? Think about it. And then just you lost your job, fall in hard times, and your policy lapse. What happened? You lose all that money. Think about it. So what if you had all that money and you put that money into a traditional IRA? You would have all that money. And guess what? You could even borrow it. Borrow from yourself. You could do that. All right, let me rush this down for you. let me rush this down for you. So business entity and personal taxes, right? Business entity and personal taxes. So this is the part now that gets very sweet. All right, so if you you can have a sole proprietorship, and that's a business that you can go to the county clerk's office, go to town to the county clerk office and open that, and that doesn't cost much to open, and you can have it, get the tax ID, and you can do that if you have a side hustle, like you're a plumber, a carpenter, you don't work for anybody, you work for yourself, you can do that one. But it does not give you liability. It does not give you liability, so it does not protect you. It does not protect you from your clients, nor the government and the IRS feed off of you. So I don't really recommend it, but it's easy and cheap. Some people do it. You could do cooperation. If you do cooperation, then even if you have a small side hustle, right? If to avoid the government from antagonize you, you can set up a corporation, and you have different types. You have the C corporation, and you have the S corporation, and you have the LLCs. You can choose any one of these types to do. These will protect you in many ways. Let's say you have a side hustle, let's say you're a plumber, and you go fix somebody's pipe, and something happened. Let's say the pipe burst after you left and flood the house, and they want to sue you. If you have a corporation, they can't sue you. They have to sue the corporation. If you have the sole proprietor, they will sue you, and you're going to have to fix that house, that basement. You're going to have to get that water out and change the tile and the carpet and whatever furniture down there. If you have a corporation, they sue the corporation. And in many cases, when people sue corporations, so corporation just file bankruptcy and pay nothing and form a new corporation. But I'm teaching you to be bad, right? Okay, so that's what most people will do. All right, so that's for corporation. And then for corporation, if you're S corporation, you're single tax. So you get to keep most of the money in your pocket and write off your expenses, and the government can't harass you because the business has its own expenses. So corporation protects you in many ways, tax-wise and liability-wise, right? And then you come to the personal income tax. You have to file those by April 15, and filing those, time is coming up for that. People who are filing taxes are always looking to get refund. Now, filing taxes is not for refund. Filing taxes is your obligation under the law. But people think that filing taxes is for refund. Now, you can file taxes for refund. Taxes can be a way of saving. So, if you are unable to save money, if you like to spend, then what you need to do is paying more into your federal and state and city taxes. And you can go to human resources, fill out your W-4 form, so that happen. So most of your money will be, some of your money, a lot, can be left in your W-2s. In that case, at the end of the year, when you file taxes, you get the extra money. So if you can save it. And then you can have what I used to do is tell my client, this is where you compulsory saving. Open up a saving account. At the end of the year, when you get that refund, let that money go straight to that refund. I used to have some clients out on Long Island, and these clients always said, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a house. But I could never buy a house because I could never have enough money to buy a house. But I see that they were getting refund. I said, yes, you could buy a house. They said, no, I can't. I said, okay, change your W-4, let your withholding be more, and open a saving account. And the client did. There are more than one of them, a couple of them, they did the same thing. I told them the same thing. And I said, when we file your taxes, we put that, we put your routing number and account number in your taxes so that that refund go to that saving account. Forget about that account. Don't have no card for it. Don't worry about it. Let it be there. And that's what they did. And over time, over about 3 or 4 years, I think it was about 4 or 5 years, they had enough money to pay their down payment. And they said, oh my God, I couldn't believe. But the money went there and the interest growing on it, and they weren't paying attention to it. They never withdrew from it. And when they're ready, they say, you know what, let me take this money. And they said, it's so much money I have no idea. And they use that money to make their down payment. And they get their first time owned by a credit and so forth. And a lot of them own their homes from tax refund. Plus they had children, so they have something they call the earned income credit. And in some cases, depending on how much children and how many children, and depend on what annual income, some people are getting refund up to $13,000. So they didn't make a lot of money to buy their own home from that. All right, so I think that's what I have to say. I'm going to now take your questions. I'm going to sit down. You can join me. If you can join me. So I'm going to take your questions. I'm ready for your question. So you have a few questions for me as well. You can ask me a few questions, and then everybody else can ask me a question. All right, so she just reminded me that I need to talk about trust and will, so you can ask me that question. So for trust, so trust is a good thing that you need to have. In fact, what's the question about trust?
Okay, so when it comes to trust and wills, which one would you like to say is better? Having a trust, or having a will?
Okay, great. So you have to have both a trust and a will. Now, in terms of trust, there are 3 main types. But there's the living trust, there's the revocable trust, and there is the irrevocable trust. The irrevocable trust is a trust that you can set up if you want to add to it. Let's say you want to buy another house, you add it to it. If you want to constantly add things to it, you do the revocable trust. The irrevocable trust, once you set it up and you add a house to it or put asset into it, you cannot put anything else in it. That's it. Now, the reason why you want to have a trust is because, for example, when you die, your beneficiary don't have to spend a lot of money in probate court to get you whatever you left for them. Probate court could hold up the asset for 5 years, and in 5 years, and they get frustrated and trying to get the house and can't get the house, and lawyer is eating them out. So by the time they get everything processed, lawyer might make $100,000 out of the equity, right? And lawyers love that. If you have a will, lawyer ain't getting nothing, because you will, if you are probate, if you have a trust, because with a trust, there's no probate court. So if you have a house, or even if you don't have a house, it's okay to have a trust. But in that case, have a revocable trust. So when you get a house, you can always add it, right? Now you will have a trust, or you also have a will. The will explain who gets what. But it just always, it just does that too. But the will is kind of, people want to have the will. The will is a part of the whole process. But even I'm coming to you. But even if you don't have a will, you have the trust. Because I have a client recently who had an aunt, and the aunt made a trust and leave her house in the trust for her. And then the aunt and her fall out before she died. But she left everything in the trust, left some things in the trust for her already. So she didn't get the will and saw the will and know what happened to the will. But the house was in the trust for her. So she got the house. So whatever else happened to the will, whoever she gave the will and what happened, she don't know. But she had a copy of the trust. And the trust says the house is hers. And she didn't have to bother with no lawyer. She just sold the house and got her money. She came to my office. I helped her with the process. There's a question. Somebody had a question? Yes, sir.
Can you speak to the current New York State tax rules regarding the trust? Can you speak to the current New York State tax rules regarding the trust?
Yes. So currently in New York State, if you had a trust, the income of the trust is taxable. The income of the trust, right? So that if it just makes income. In many cases, the trust does not make income. But I know an example, a trust got in the annuity, because the person put a lot of money into the trust, and it was generating dividends. The dividend in New York State, they will tax the dividend, but just the dividend. The principal is not taxable, in many cases, if you look at a house, for example, and I know you're getting that. For example, the capital gain. Because I know you might want to think about the capital gain. So the capital gain, will be taxable, right? But that all depends on and what type of house did you repair, and so when you take out all the repairs and whatnot, depends on was the rental property. All that will determine how much capital gain and to what extent capital gain on it to be taxed. Yes.
Okay, Dr. Palmer, you covered a lot of topics, which was very interesting. I would like to ask you some questions too, also in regards to some of the topics you covered today. I would like to start even with pension. I'm sure there are others who would like to know if they want to start a pension, how much money would you say would be needed to start a pension plan?
All right. So I would say $50. All you got to do is go down to the bank, Bank of America, but nowadays you don't have to go to the bank. You can call the bank, right? And you can tell the bank, I want to take out an IRA, and then tell them which one you want, or a SEP. And when the bank will, you fill the information out right over the phone, and sign everything right over the phone, and your pension start. $50 in most cases you could start it. You could do a monthly one, so you can decide they will ask you, do you want to make a monthly contribution? You could say yes. You could use what is in your budget, again, your budget, if you can afford $50 a month. But I usually say what you can afford, but you can do more. So let's say you say, I do $50 per month to start. Then let's say you work overtime, you find yourself with the extra money, and it does not impact your budget. And you find yourself with the additional $300. You could say, oh, you know what? For my $300, I'm going to put additional $200. So this month I'm saving $250 instead of $50. And I'm going to put away the next $100 for rainy day. And you must also know, to manage your budget too, you should also have a rainy day budget, rainy day savings. Rainy day savings. You know what a rainy day savings? There's a little money you put away into a saving account that should, in case something happens, that you need to go, you use that money. So you're not going into your other money. You use a rainy day money, right? So it's handy. Okay, handy money. But put it in the bank, not under your mattress. Put it in the bank. Yes. No. Yes, this lady here have a question, yes. It's a very good question. It's a very, very good question. If your husband owns a house and your name is not on that house, and just his name alone on the house, and he passed away, you will have a serious problem if you could quite possibly ended up renting, and it's very, very likely that you might end up renting because the mortgage because if you don't earn enough money to continue to pay the mortgage, and your husband did not have insurance, then eventually you're going to go into foreclosure. The bank is going to go and sell that house, and you're going to be finding some place to rent soon. And that's why we talk about that's why I'm having this seminar, because what you need, if your husband name alone on the house, then if the balance on the house is $400,000, then your husband should take out insurance, term insurance, for $500,000, and that insurance should be and you should be the sole beneficiary of that money. All right. So if he doesn't leave a will, you still have a problem. If there's no will, then you and the bank is going to fight for that house. You and the bank and the state, because but if you don't leave no will, if the husband does not leave a will, then the property belongs to the state. So the state now, so you now will have to fight the state to get your husband's house. So your husband must make a will, right? Your husband must make a will, no question about that. And even when your husband make a will, it's going to be a little process, but you get the money. Yes, sir.
I think in my sister's situation, it would depend on when they got married. It would depend on when they got married and when was the house purchased. If the house was purchased during their marriage, she would be first in line to the asset. If it was purchased while they were married, she would be first in line. If it was purchased before marriage, that would be a different situation.
All right, correct. So if the house, it's still a process, and the process is still going to be a fight between the state and her. She has some right over the bank, of course. So she'll be first in line, and at the bank and at the state. But the state is still going to fight, and it's going to take a long process. She's going to get the house eventually, but it's going to be maybe 5 years before she gets the house. It's going to take a whole long process, and it's going to also be a lot of legal expense. So what you want to avoid, because of the probate, it will go through probate because there was no will. Now, and that's why, if your name is on it, it's different. Now, what you will want to prove is that okay, you are contributing to the mortgage. So the part of the reason, part of what he's saying, my brother is saying, is that you will have some right to the house, but you would have to prove that you were contributing to the mortgage, right? And that you're part of the whole process. Yes.
She would be first line of succession for the house. I practice real estate. I've
Yeah.
had a license. She'd have the first line of succession if the house is purchased within her marriage period. Then, if for that, God forbid, she passed away and her husband's still alive, and then he passed away, then it would go to the children. The next successors would be the children. But he could very well be in the mortgage. But it's understand the overruling document would be your marriage certificate. You wouldn't really have to go through probate. You'd have to go through probate probably. Your house, your name is probably on the deed, but probably not in the mortgage.
No, she has to go through probate. There is no other rule. You must go through probate. Yeah, she must go through probate. Married or no married, if there's no will, you're going through probate, and that's the law, right? So if you don't want to go through probate, there must be a trust. If there's no trust, yes, you're in line you're in line, but in line mean little and nothing. If you have to spend all that time to go through probate and spend all that money, and the whole process is a probate, and how much money do you have to fight the probate, and how long you take for you own that house is a whole process, because during that time you can't refinance it, and if you run out of money, it's a whole challenge you have, and you know, it's just a headache of in some place that is still not yours yet, because you're not on the deed, is your husband on the deed, but you're in line, of course, but it doesn't mean so much. Only in line means that the bank can't take it. The government you will have more authority, more right to it than the state. That's what that means. But it's a process, and a very costly process. Yes, go ahead. Huh? So trust, so trusts are generally costly. There are different types. Different if you want a revocable or irrevocable. There are some accountants do it. There are attorneys do it. We do it. It depends on and a lot of different things for that. The prices varies. Is you know, some it could be, you know, various prices. I don't want to. I don't know. You can Google it. It's in Google. Google it. Yeah, best to Google it. Yes.
Just before you go ahead, you're gonna ask a question.
So I just can run you anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000.
I have a question. I have a 24-year-old child, and I need to know how to set up an account for him. I think it's the IRA, the IRA account. So how do I mean, what is the amount I start with, and how do I do that?
All right, so that's a very good question. And just before I answer your question, you were saying something? All right, so the living trust is mostly is pretty much the irrevocable trust is also considered a living trust too. All right, so if you have your son and your son you want to open an IRA for him, it's the same thing. You could, as long as he's earning and have the ability to open, and of course he has the age, so he can. So essentially, you go online and to any of the banks that has it. I think Bank of America or any of those. And you can go there and open up the IRA. And since he's 27, 24, he's young, so he should do a traditional IRA.
What is it? Traditional?
Traditional. And he should do a traditional, and that would be his initial pension. And he could keep that pension for as long as he lives. When he get a big job and start making more money, he might not be able to contribute the required amount, because if his job pension is higher, there's a phase-out amount. But he doesn't have to worry about that. Let that happen when that happens.
Okay. The other question I was asking about the 457, the account. You have 401k and all that. I don't know if you know about the 457, but can you consolidate the 457 with the 401?
I did not discuss 457 because I don't see that one in my practice as much.
MTA has that.
Yeah, I don't see it much in my practice, so I did not review that. Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I don't see that much in my practice, so it's not one I choose to speak
So do you think my husband has that, but I didn't know it's a college saving. So if it's a college saving, you think we don't have somebody in college right now, you think I can close that and you can close it and put it over to the 401? Because if you're not using that, you can...
Yeah, well, it would operate just like the 529, because those college plans. If you withdraw from them and not withdrawing from them for college purposes, you're going to pay the penalty. So that's a challenge when you have a college plan and it's for college. It's designed for that. So if you're not using it for college, you will have to pay. You will pay a penalty when you withdraw it. But you could withdraw it.
Just say you have a 401k. No, 457. You reach age, you want to stop work. Okay? 62, right?
Yeah.
But you want to withdraw from it. Withdraw it.
Right. So those college plans and we see the problem with college plans is that they're designed for college. So because they're designed for college, you should draw it when the child turns 20, whatever age, and going to college, and set that money to college. It's not for you.
So you withdraw it.
So when you withdraw it, you pay a penalty because it was not designed for you to save. You're supposed to save in your
And
401k, your 414H, those other plans. So you should draw it for the child when the child is going to college. It's for tuition. It's not for pension. Those college plans are for tuition, not pension. So you can set them up and then withdraw them for your own pension when you turn 62 or 65. No, you're going to pay the penalty.
I think he was asking about the 457, which is kind of similar to the 401k. Yeah,
No.
she was talking about the college plan before, but I think he's asking about the 457.
If it's a college plan, all the college plans are the same.
Oh no, sorry, the 547? 457? Oh, no, that's not a college plan.
Well, all the college plans are for tuition.
I want to know.
Right. All college plans are for tuition. And you can only use them for tuition. You can't use them for pension. And if you use them for anything else, you will pay a penalty. All of them is the same, no different, whatever the name is. All college plans are the same. So just make that clear. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you can draw it out. Yeah, and pay tuition as tuition come. Yes.
So,
but it's known for tuition and it yes.
So, I think I made a mistake. She was saying the 457. That's what we have at MTA. It's kind of similar to the 401k. You're correct about the college plan, which is about the 529.
Yeah.
But he was asking about the 457.
It's a pension.
Yes, it's a pension.
It's not a college plan.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was asking if when you reach 60,
Right.
62.
Okay. So like I am a professor and I work for City University. I have a 414H, right? So it's a pension plan. So you can draw that you can draw your plan 59 and a half.
Right.
At 59 and a half, you can withdraw from it without paying any penalty.
So now I have a 457 and a 401k, but is there age bracket or age limit that you could draw it without paying penalty?
59 and a half. 59 and a half. Yes.
Both 401 and
Yes. Yes.
wow.
Yes. But don't go plurge now.
That's what I'm talking. Taxes. Now taxes. Is it?
All right. So those plans that you have are those plans. The money that you pay into those plans were before tax.
Before tax.
Therefore, when you withdraw those monies, you will now pay the tax now. So you get
got you.
exempt in the early days.
All right.
And
So
which is good because that time your salary was higher. Now that your salary is lower, your tax rate is lower. So now when you withdraw that money, your tax rate is lower, is good. But remember, but at this point, you're not paying any penalty. So you're not paying 20%. You're only paying the 10%.
Okay. So let's suppose now, does it depend on how much you draw out? Let's just suppose you draw it out in parts. Will it make a difference with the tax?
Oh yes, that's what you should do. So you should determine. You should decide. Okay, so we talk about the pension plan, the retirement plan. So you should understand how much money do I need for 2025 to pay my recurring bills, to go on vacation, to do things that I always do. Because remember, when you retire, you want to maintain your lifestyle. You don't want to be less, right? So what happened now? What you'll do? You will say, okay, for all of my expenses, that's why you need a budget. You'll put everything on a budget. When you look at your budget, you say, well, everything I'm doing on my budget. And look at it. You say, okay, I will need $65,000 for 2025.
Okay.
So you tell human resources how much they must give to you. And also you will get your pension, your Social Security. So you will know how much you're getting for Social Security. So you will add up Social Security and that the pension, and that's the amount you will take. Your tax rate will be lower. You'll find yourself into a lower tax bracket, and you will not pay much taxes on it. If you take too much money out of your pension,
It goes in a
you will end up paying taxes on your Social Security. So find out the threshold and you stay within that confine.
Okay, I got you.
But if you take your money like that, based on a budget, you will not pay much taxes. You'll be good. But if you take a lump sum, then you double up your tax rate. Huh? But so remember, if you pass away, your wife get it, and the children. That's why you have something named beneficiary. So if you think you're going to die at a certain point, you should then spend as much as you want and pay the tax as you want. And some people do. A lot of my clients do. They figure, I'm 70. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going on cruise. Then they take the money and they pay the tax, and they're not leaving for the children.
Okay. So this is being streamed online, so you can even watch it in the future. So what we want to do is, like, any questions asked, we want to use the mic to ask the question.
Yes, that's a good thing.
Right. So
Yeah, so that
okay.
everybody else can benefit from the answer.
Oh, she has a question.
Can I go?
Go right ahead.
Yes. Sir, thank you very much for this class. It's been very educational. I have a two-part question for you, so bear with me. When your clients...
Can you say your name?
Sorry?
Can you say your name?
My name is Shelley.
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 Thanks, Shelley. Go ahead.
Yes. I have a two-part question. My first part of question is for you. As a professional, when your clients approach you with a living trust, knowing that it's going to probate, would you advise them to stay within a living trust or proceed to a will? That's the first part of the question. If your client, if I were to approach you to establish a living trust fund, knowing that you can see that it's going to probation court, would you advise me to do a will instead? Be honest, you are the professional. I am coming to you. Would you advise me to do a will instead of a living trust? If I explain to you that I may have reasons to do this living trust, and you and I both sat together and foresee that it's heading to probate court, would you, in your most honest decision, advise me to do a will instead?
I'm not certain if I'm answering your question, if I understand your question, but if what I know about this is you need to have a will and a living trust.
Okay, so
You
both
need
are
to have,
required.
you need to have both.
Okay.
So the will tells how things must share, and a living trust protect you from the probate court.
I see.
So the reason the reason why you want to have the living trust is to avoid probate court. That's one of the main reasons why people do living trust.
I see.
Huh?
Exactly. That was what I was trying to decipher, Elder Junior. Thank you for establishing that. I guess I was trying to find out if I was a professional and my client were to approach me in that situation, I think I would want to say, instead of going to probate, or you see yourself going to probate court over all of this, why just not do a will and make it a little bit more definite? Because I have seen in the 25 years of nursing that I retired from, even in the medical field, we are dealing with the courts who would recommend and summon us for documents to support these living trust and even the will. And even as a retired nurse, I have had to provide the courts with uncountable amount of documents to support this. And I've seen in the 25 years that this can prolong for more than 5, sometimes 7 years, accumulating millions of dollars in legal fund. So as an individual, I'm thinking that my decisions are probably for a more established will.
No.
No?
You see, what the problem with some people who what you might have is that not everyone set up their trust properly. So if the trust was not set up properly, that's why you have that challenge.
Yes.
When you set up a trust, the trust must be, you must have the affidavit of a trust. If you did not set up a trust with your affidavit and also have it signed by notary, then your trust is no trust. And some people just decide, okay, I'm gonna have a trust. Mm-hmm. But there was no affidavit for the trust, it was not signed by a notary, and that's why you have to do what you do. Because I just did a transaction recently, last week, with someone who had a trust. There was no problem. Mm-hmm. It's 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. And it was a real estate property. It happened 1, 2, 3. There's absolutely no challenge with it. So what you're saying is someone who has a trust that was not a trust. Mm-hmm. So that's where you find that, the trust is after the fact. Mm-hmm. Like, they set up the trust, there was no tax ID, there was no official established trust, but they have the trust. And then the trust now, when the person dies, when the family is scrambling mm-hmm. to get the trust in legal status. That's why you have that.
Yes,
Trust avoid you spending money. That's why the reason for that.
Okay, thank you. And my second part of the question, I'll make it really quick, was, has there been any circumstances where a will is challenged in court?
All the time. Wills are challenged in court and challenged by family. I have seen will challenged in court for 5 years, 6 years, still in,
Okay, so that's
You know,
also not a definite
I see
piece of document.
I saw a family fighting for a property, and until the property run down. Nobody there, and it's just there rattling down, and it's just there. And by the time they finish the whole process, and legal fees, and the value of the property, to fix it up, to get it,
It wasn't worth it.
yeah,
All right,
but
well, thank
it's
you,
the process.
thank you so much. Thank you, so appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
What if there is no challenge? Nobody challenged the will, then what?
So if nobody challenge the will, it is good.
Oh,
Everything go right through.
okay. All right, so
And there are some cases where there's no challenge with the will. Family work together.
all right.
It will, if no challenge, it will go as fast as it takes to get everybody. All right, 6 o'clock, I think. Any other question? Go ahead.
I've got one question. This has, I would like, this is nothing to do with what you're presenting, but as a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and as an elder, I believe you're an elder
Right.
of the church and an advisor. What do you think, what's your views on taking advantage of the structure of the church to operate as a business entity for investment purposes? Have you had any discussions with your church on this, with the Linden Church?
I'm not clear on the question.
As we have a certain structure in our church, as at the Adventist church, have you discussed in your church how you could take advantage of that structure to generate and preserve wealth?
What structure?
The structure being a nonprofit organization, and the fact that you have a collective body of individuals that, like the Jews, could pool their money together for investment purpose, and taking advantage of the tax benefits.
Okay, so no, we at Linden we don't do that. Yeah.
I've been contemplating this for our church here for a while. I wondered if you thought about it in your church.
No, at Linden the individual, the investment or whatever investment would happen at the church happen from the conference level. The church itself will not engage in any corporate investment process to involve the church as a body. And for me personally, as a financial person, I highly discourage that. Because the church is made up of a heterogeneous audience of people with various understanding of things. And when you engage the church with everybody into, say, an investment plan, it could, depends on who would want to run that. The church could find itself in challenge with the 501c3 charter, and that could harm the conference. It could harm the conference very, very badly. and also the church could invest, and the people could lose their money and sue the church and sue the conference. It could cause a lot of trouble. The risk involved is way too great that I would highly discourage that as a professional.
I'm interested in opening a life insurance, but I see on television lots of places offering life insurances for very cheap costs, but I'm not certain what or which agency should I choose. Can you give me advice on that? Like, how do I go about knowing which is good and which is not?
Okay, so what I would say to you, today we live in AI world. So everything is AI now. So all the information that you need is out there in big data. So if you see a company, look for the big companies. And when you see a big company, Google it. Find out what the company is, learn a little about it from Google, and then call them, ask them questions. And then when you feel comfortable, then you invest in them. But there are some companies that you know that have big names, like AIG, it's a big name. Cornelia Penn has a big name. So look for those with big name. Look at their credit ratings. And then once you're satisfied that they have good credit rating, buy from them. Insurance, you buy it directly. You don't need an agent. Call them up and buy it. That's why I bought mine. I bought mine from Colonial Penn, actually. That's what you mentioned. You lost William Penn, actually. I just call them up, buy your insurance, and you don't need to pay anybody commission to get your insurance anymore. I mean, you can find an agent if you want, but I just call William Penn and buy my insurance. That I did.
Before you go, I have a question from a member who is streaming live, so I want to be the voice for them to assist them. So this person is asking, they said they were working with two agencies before, and they were taking out retirement funds. Now that she's working with another agency, they're taking out 401k. She wants to know if she can merge those two previous accounts with her 401k.
Yeah, she can roll over. So it's okay for she to roll over. So there is no penalty in rolling over. So if you have more than one plan and you want to manage it, especially if you leave from one place to the next, you just roll it over. But you must do it within a certain time and roll over the full amount. So make sure that you don't roll over. Like some people say they're rolling over. And let's say the amount was $50,000. So they try to roll over $40,000, take a $10,000 to spend. No, you can pay a penalty now. It's not considered rollover anymore. You have to roll over the whole $50,000. One rollover, yes.
And the second question, they were just hearing about the insurance also, and they would like to know what is your advice of which insurance would be the best in New York City itself here?
Yeah, so the same question my sister just asked. We just answered that. I am not advocating for no insurance company. So I got William Penn, but I'm not saying that you should do that one. I'm saying you do your own research. And see, you probably find one that gives you a better deal. But do your research on the company, its credit, its credibility, its stability. And if you feel that company is strong enough and ethical enough, then you use that one.
You can go ahead.
Yes. My name is Derek Gonzalez.
Hi, Derek.
I am from Guyana. I have a will in Guyana states that if I die before my wife, then everything goes to her. And if she dies, everything comes to me. And if both of us dies, then our children get the inheritance. Now, does that will cover assets if I have in the United States of America?
Yes. A will is a will. Your will is your will. Is your final will and testament.
My name is Mr. Williams, and I think you were talking about a small business, right? So I would like to know, I like this. I did it myself. And if I want to start a business with this, how can I go about doing it?
Also, if you want to start a business with that, what I would suggest to you is, first of all, you need to do a feasibility study. You also need to do a market research. Most small businesses do not do feasibility study, nor market research. So I did this, it's nice, people are gonna buy it. How do you know that? You don't know. And then you take a little investment and put it into this business, open up this store, spend all this money, and open up, and nobody buy you. And people buy, but you're not making enough to cover your expense, and very soon you close down. So that's why I said, first of all, do you have a market? Can you find a market? You should study to see, can I find a market? And if you can find a market, then you do that. We're gonna close out in the next 5 minutes. So
Okay, or also,
Yeah.
okay, I make some, I sold it. Do I have to produce the money to IRS?
yes,
Even if I sell one or two?
yes.
Okay. Do I register it as a business?
But you don't have to register as a business necessarily. You could just, when you file in your personal income tax, give that number to your accountant. But the expense, not just what you sold, but the material that you purchase, phone calls you make, time spent, put all that together and give that to the accountant, and then they'll make up a Schedule C and report that. So you might not even have to pay any tax. It all depends on how much you spend and how much you make.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a next online question. Can you own more than one life insurance?
All right, so a lot of people do that because the insurance agent duped them into buying life insurance. Life insurance covers indemnity, so you're not going to be better off if you have more than one life insurance. It's not going to cover you beyond beyond your indemnity. So it really don't make sense to have more than one life insurance.
And and the second part now, can a wife and a husband take out separate life insurance?
Of course, wife and husband should have separate life insurance because you're buying insurance on each other. A different one is a beneficiary. If your wife dies, if the husband dies, so yeah, you should have both. Should have life insurance.
Okay, I'm Nadine. Could you have more than one accident insurance?
Yeah, because it's more than you. You have one for you and your husband have one. You each driving. Each of you need to cover yourself. Yes.
Okay, cool. I have one more question. Earlier you mentioned that...
but those are different type of insurance. You yourself don't need to have two for yourself. But so when we're talking about life insurance, like I don't need to have two policies. I just want to have one. I just need to have one policy. But then, if it's two people, each of you have one policy. But you don't need to have two policies yourself, because indemnity is only going to cover what one, the highest one.
All right, one more. Earlier you did mention that if you're at a job and you don't have a pension plan, it's advisable to open an IRA account.
If you're what?
If you don't have a pension plan at your job, it's advisable to open an IRA
Correct.
account.
Right, that's what I said in the beginning.
Right, so now if you have a pension plan, do you still need an IRA?
Yes, because you might not be contributing enough from your pension plan, from your job. Let's say your job, if your job is covering you enough, yes. But let's say your job not covering you sufficient. You use the IRA to bump it up. All right, I think we have only one more question.
Let me just say this one. But if your job, if you have a pension plan and then you have a 401k on the job, do you still wish to have an IRA? Do you still need to?
You don't need to have all that if you don't need to.
Right.
Only you don't need to have. You only have what you need. So people who get IRA primarily are people who don't have their own plan and you know. Last question, yes, sir.
Thank you for taking this last question. Based on the question that was asked online, that it's good to have individual life insurance. Does it have like a family insurance, husband and wife together? Many insurance company and agents that came to me is that they said it's always good to go separately. But to my thinking, it's more affordable to have a family life insurance, so you don't have to pay two separate, separate money for that to maintain that life insurance policy. Does it have something like that, family life insurance, like for husband and wife paying one at least premium for the year or monthly?
Yeah, they have some of those plans, but yeah, they do have those plans, like a family plan. You have your children on it, and your children are considered riders, and you pay less. Some people can have those, but I tend to think that you should have your own policy, and your wife got her own. Just in case something go bad between you and you go your separate ways, you still have your insurance. Because you have a family plan, what do you do if something go bad and you go your separate ways, that all that money get lost? So insurance and finance advice is for prudence. It's not what is cheaper, it's what make more sense. And it make more sense for each individual has his or her own insurance. But for the children, you can put the children on as rider because you will always have your children. But you don't necessarily always have your wife, even though you're Adventist, or your husband. But you will always have your children, so you make them rider and pay cheap for them. But your wife should have her own, her husband have his own. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here with you on this evening. I think you're great. Your questions were very challenging, and I think you have learned what you wanted to learn from this course this evening. God bless you. Have a good evening.